So we could talk about our pitch talk live on the air.
There we go. Well, actually, let's just do... That'll do. We got Joseph Kelsey in here. He says, "What's up, guys? Long-time podcast listener, first-time live stream watcher, excited. Haha, King in Black 1 was phenomenal. Just blew my mind. Yeah!"
He's right. He's right.
I'm going to get my QuickTime open here.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm going to tweet to make sure that everybody knows this is going down.
Ethan, I'm going to need you to grab that retweet. I'll grab my
Griffin,
Twitter
I'm gonna
machine.
need you to shut the fuck up.
I got so many things going. God damn.
What retweet?
Yeah.
The one Ryan's putting out right now.
Oh, whatever.
King in Black issue 1 is amazing. Best line was "Hi, I'm Bob." I don't even remember that line. Was that a line in King in Black 1?
Is that a line?
Guys, who said "Hi, I'm Bob"?
That sounds like classic Donnie dialogue.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. Those Kate's captions.
Kate's caps. Simbito dragons. It said that. Ugh. I'll get Devin in here and we can yell at him.
God damn it.
He's had enough Donnie and me yelling at him this week, I think. Okay, so are you guys ready? Are we just gonna go in and start taking questions, or what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I'll do a little intro.
We could open with some pop culture news if you want.
All right, let's start with some pop culture news. All right, tell me when to
Wait a
record.
Second, I'm retweeting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
This is most of running a network is just retweeting.
I gotta tell you guys. So Dakota Bergen said, "I don't typically go for big events. The last one that did it for me was probably Siege, but this was truly quality work and completely unreal work from you and JP. Thank you, Dakota." And I think that this is an event for the ages. Personally, I know that I'm working on it, but I can recognize Donnie's genius. I think I'm pretty all right at drawing. We got a perfect team together. Everybody's on the same page. It's just fucking awesome.
So you gotta
Oh,
stop
yeah.
selling yourself short. The book is as good as it is because of everybody involved.
Because of
Ryan.
Mr. Ryan Stegman.
Oh yeah. No, I mean honestly, that's what I wanted to say.
Well, we said it for you in case you didn't want to commit to the bit,
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to hit record on my own recording. Ethan, are you done
ready.
retweeting?
All right. Do we have to look at the top of your head anymore, Ethan? Look, I get it. You have a full, luxurious head of hair.
Zero recession happening in your hairline. I get it.
It's mainly why I'm here is to promote my head of hair.
All right. Let's record. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom!
Oh shit.
God damn it.
Did it not work, Ryan?
No, Ethan's
No,
didn't work.
We're good.
Oh, we're good? Okay.
Good.
All right.
We're good.
Lead us in, Griff.
Oh wait, hold on. Record the Skype.
Christ.
Oh my God, you two.
All right, now we're going. Now we're good.
This is fucking A.
Hey, we got a shout out for Clayton Cowell's letters. That's awesome. I love it when people notice the letters.
Oh.
Why did this?
Are you ready, Ryan?
Yeah.
Are you ready to talk about your new book, Ryan? You got shit on the stands, Ryan.
Honestly,
Months.
I think it's been a full year since I've had a book on the stands. The last one was Absolute Carnage 5.
Oh my God.
Somebody can do
Last time you
the
did a
math
series,
for me,
huh?
but yeah. But I mean, this year that is the longest year in American history. So basically, it's been a decade since I've had anything on the shelves. Yeah, no, it's exciting to finally be
Welcome
back.
everybody. We got the one and only Mr. Ryan Stegman here. and you got your two local supple boys as well. How's it going? And we are
Hi.
here to talk about everything from pop culture news to all the stuff that happens in King in Black issue number 1. Ryan, it's finally here. The day came yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You've been getting reactions and such to the first of your 5 issues of not Absolute Carnage, it was last year, King in Black.
Mm-hmm.
How's it been? You've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, it's the thing when you don't have a book come out for a while, you start to question yourself and you think, do I still have it? I swear to you, I looked at issue 1 and I was like, I've lost it. I don't know how to draw anymore. I'm terrible. And Devin and Donnie had to talk me down from that ledge. But yeah, now that I've got it back out there, I feel like I'm feeling good. Everybody's been super positive about it. I mean, I expected that, but you can never really prepare yourself for just how much feedback you're going to get on a thing like this. And yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, thanks to everybody that reached out on Twitter or Instagram or wherever else. We're really proud of this book, and it rules.
It does rule, Ryan.
It does rule.
It's got just a number of just astounding moments. The book.
We got to be careful with spoilers, but I think most people that are in here have probably read it.
I think we'll definitely have a spoiler chat in the back half of the episode here. But before we get into some pop culture news, Donnie which he's not here with us today. We do plan on doing
we've got the Chip Zdarsky in the chat asking, what did you think of Daredevil 25? Chip, people seem to love it. I'm not a fan of it, but just different strokes for different folks. I'm more into stuff blowing up and people fighting each other instead of being in jail and talking. But some people like that, I guess. And I saw the reviews on it, and apparently people love it. So more power to them. Thanks, Chip, for your question.
I think this confirms my theory that Chip is always here in our live stream audience, and only just now has he piped up to put something in the chat.
Yeah, he's always
here.
here.
Fan of the show.
And we just had JP asked, is he here that some guys are talking about King in Black? It is JP, and
You're
welcome.
right, JP.
JP killed it. I'll tell you guys something real quick. I know that I'm derailing everything, and Griffin was about to ask a question, but JP and I agreed that issue 3, which we just finished, is the best thing that we've done as a team so far. And I mean, obviously, every issue we feel like gets better and better, but I really can't believe how good issue 3 looks. So that's just something to look forward to for the plebes out there, like Chip, who's dying to read it.
Chip also, he adds, thanks for the comments, Ryan. Big fan of Marvel Comics.
Thank you, Chip. You're such a sweetheart. I don't even know if that's really him. I think it is. The way that he's writing, that's got to be really Chip.
Real Chip Zdarsky?
Yeah.
I think we do have a Chip Zdarsky in the chat. All right. Well, chains in the chat for JP and the poop emoji in the chat for Chip.
Yeah.
Poops in the chat for Chip, chains in the chat for JP. Donnie's not here with us today. We will be doing a director's commentary sort of situation very soon here, and I'm really excited to get into that. So that'll be where I think a bulk of the super spoilery stuff will happen. We'll touch on a couple of the key moments at the end of the episode here, but stay tuned because we're going to have a full breakdown of the issue for you guys coming real soon, so we know that y'all enjoyed those for Absolute Carnage, and of course we want to follow up and do them again for this one because they were a lot of fun to do, and there's just so much to dig into. Ryan, do you agree?
Yes, it's a lot. Like I said, I did this book a million years ago, it feels like now, because this would have been out in September, except for the pandemic.
Was it September or like an August release like Abscarn, or was it going to be like a fall event?
I think that it was supposed to be September because they still had 10 of Swords going, and they didn't want to, or Empire, one of those they didn't want to overlap with. So, everything got pushed back, and so like I said, I've been working on this for freaking ever. I do want to say something. I hope Chip is gone because I'm going to say something nice. I know what happened in Daredevil 25. I haven't read it because I haven't been to the story yet, but I was there in the room at the summit when Chip pitched this idea, and it was freaking awesome, and it really is cool. So I think that anybody that likes this show should go out and support that book too. And like I said, I hope Chip didn't hear that.
You started talking about Daredevil, and the viewer number just went down.
Yeah, it plummeted. That's
Crazy.
true.
That's really upsetting.
People are so bored.
Flagged by YouTube. We're getting emails from YouTube that says no one gives a shit in all caps.
They're defunding us. We passed into that threshold where we would make money, and now they're just taking it all away.
All right, you want to do a little pop culture news?
Oh my God! Well, if that's your question, my question for you is: do you have the theme ready?
Pop culture news.
Fuck yeah! Okay. Listen, it's been forever since we've done pop culture news, so there's a lot of shit, and we're just gonna talk about stuff from the last week. So if you wanted to hear Ryan talk about something from 2 weeks ago, get fucked. Ryan, today the big news is that all of the 2021 Warner Brothers movies are getting put onto HBO Max the same day that they're supposed to be released in the theaters. And not for an additional charge like Disney's Mulan cost you an extra $30 on top of Disney Plus. So if you got HBO Max, you'll be able to watch all of the following movies: James Gunn's Suicide Squad, The Matrix 4, Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong, Space Jam: A New Legacy, Little Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry. I forgot to mention these are ordered from most interesting to least interesting. Mortal Kombat, Those Who Wish Me Dead, The Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It, In the Heights, Reminiscence, Malignant, The Many Saints of Newark, King Richard, and Cry Macho.
This is all. I think this is cool. The only way they were going to get me to see Suicide Squad is to give it to me for free on HBO Max.
But it's James Gunn.
I know, it might be good. I am excited for Wonder Woman. Tom and Jerry should have been higher on your list. Is that an animated movie?
Yeah.
Is it going to be all?
It's a Roger Rabbit style, like animation in real life thing.
Oh, that's cool. I'm excited for that.
We just got a trailer for it a few days ago, and it's like Chloe Grace Moretz, and they're in her hotel, and she's like, "Get out of my hotel," and then they don't.
That was a good impression. I'm excited about Godzilla vs. King Kong. I'm still buzzing from when I took my kids to see Godzilla, and they couldn't get over how great it was. So that's cool. No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I didn't know that. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that they just like made this call right now. I guess it tracks with how the rest of the year is gone,
Yeah.
of course. But man, I really hope this doesn't kill movie theaters.
People are, of course, really hoping that this leads Disney to drop Black Widow on Disney Plus and other big Disney titles. I don't
be
know.
honest.
If they will.
I don't know how many of these I'm gonna watch at home. I don't know if I want to try and save myself for some of these. A lot of those are obviously gonna be later in the year. Like Suicide Squad, I don't think was till like August or something. So
Yeah.
I have a
knows
quick
what's gonna
interlude here. Gethin Thomas asks, "What happened to the Sentry?" Okay, next pop culture news topic.
I don't know if you've read the issue or not, Gethin, but spoilers. Our next thing is that we got a set video from the Hawkeye series, confirming that Haley Steinfeld is playing Kate Bishop. We got a little peeky at the two of them. There's her with her bow and arrow, and next to Jeremy Renner with his not mohawk haircut.
Boo! Bring back the mohawk.
Bring back
haircut.
the mohawk. Let's get a Twitter thing going. Bring back the mohawk.
At least the
But yeah,
mohawk.
that's exciting. She's a great choice for that. I'm excited for that. What about you, Ryan?
Yep, great choice. I'm excited. So we are now up to, I think I've said this on the show before. My sons were begging to watch Infinity War, and I said absolutely not unless you watch every other Marvel movie. And so we've been making our way through all the Marvel movies over quarantine, and we're now at Infinity War. And so it's completely reshaped. I could redo that your quiz this again, because I think that would do a lot better.
Shit.
But watching it with them has made it so much. I mean, I already liked it, obviously, but it's made it so much better. And any of these movies now, I'm psyched when I hear about them, like in a different way than I was when it was just like me, an old man, getting excited to see superheroes punch each other on a screen. Now I'm like, yes, like I get to watch this with my kids. This also, people that listen to this podcast know that that Oliver refuses to read American comics, and he doesn't give a crap about my work and all that stuff. But the Marvel movies, I bought the Marvel Encyclopedia recently, and I just gave it to Harrison, my youngest, because he's a little more into it, and he was going through it, and he said, Marvel Zombies, and then Oliver was like, wait, what? And so Oliver has now read all the first 3 volumes of Marvel Zombies. He had a critique of the 3rd one today, but I don't need to critique anybody else's work on here. But he was not as into the 3rd one. But we now have an avenue into the Marvel universe where he's reading American comics, and I'm so excited because finally, so it's cool.
So the movies didn't do it for him. The movies didn't make him want to go and read some of the comics.
He kept kind of saying no. He like it wasn't of major interest to him. But yeah, the zombie thing really got him, and then that got him. Like he's now asking questions like, who is Galactus? Because Galactus isn't in the movies, and he's like, well, how does he tie to it? And he's got one of those brains where he likes all that, the continuity and the tying in of stuff. And so he's asking all kinds of questions. So I can tell he's interested now, but I'm trying to like be hands off, like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I guess that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Celestials.
Yeah.
Celestials. What about the Celestials? They seem pretty badass.
Right.
I want to say I'm sorry I buried the lead on that news. We also got the first look at Lucky the Pizza Dog in those set photos. So pretty good.
That is cool. I wonder if Matt Fraction gets and David Aja get a nice check out of Lucky the Pizza Dog being in the movie.
There was a question about whether this was based directly off that run.
Yeah.
It's funny too because WandaVision is so like specifically like Tom King's vision and stuff as well. So it's like these Disney series are like they're going specific. I like it.
Yeah, that's good shit because the MCU's always kind of been about it's this event, but like not really.
Right.
Just a little tiny like it's a Winter Soldier light and it's Civil War light. But if they go for some more sort of faithful adaptations in these TV shows, I'd be super interested in that. So
that's what that's what I think Marvel gets right is that they pick the things that work in the comics and they make them into movies and shows. Like I think that's the smartest way to do it. You have a whole, trove of things that they've tried, and some of them have failed miserably. Like they're not making a Clone Saga movie. Well, I guess they might be.
They might.
But
it's crazy how like a lot of this stuff is pretty recent in terms of the stuff that they are picking from the comics.
Right.
And it just begs the question of when Sony's gonna come around and say. So what are some of the biggest Venom stories that we can turn into?
I'm unclear on that. I guess that Sony then would, because it happened in a Venom comic, that they would have the rights to put him in a movie, but I'm interested to know how that works out, like if Marvel has him or not, because...
Maybe you own it.
Yeah,
do you
that's
own the
true.
film rights to Venom?
Yeah, and my new Image book, Null.
Sick.
Which, by the way, Maximum Venom is now on Disney Plus, and my kids are going to be watching that soon. So maybe they'll think I'm cool then. I don't know. I just want them to love me. They're so disrespectful.
I know the Grendel is Null in there.
Well, they did that like intro to the season. I don't think he's actually in the series, but they're hinting at him. So.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
I'm down to watch that. I'll watch a little bit of that. We watched the first season of that Spider-Man cartoon, and we're 22 and watching a Spider-Man cartoon, so it is what it is, isn't it?
It's okay.
Hyper Combo asks, Ryan, would you consider working on an animated movie for King in Black after the book's release? Fuck yeah. Duh.
Of course.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. All right,
You want
next.
to be art director on that? That would be so good.
Yeah, it depends. What's the highest paid job on the animated movie? I want that one.
Probably the director.
Yeah. What about the voice acting?
It depends on the voice actor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Be the
Ryan.
voice of the Grendel. What does the Grendel sound like?
Oh, I'm not doing an impression of the Grendel right now. Sounds like
I say Sam Jackson's the Grendel. That would be pretty fucking good.
it's got to be Andy Serkis. There's no.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I think the Grendel sounds like Tom Holland's normal accent, where he's like, "Oi,
Yeah.
it's me, Tom Holland." That's all the Grendel.
I'm very scary.
You better watch it. I'm a burn the city down, won't I? I'm a big dragon.
Aren't I?
Yeah. All right.
You think that's offensive to British people? Is this British people in the chat? Matt Seaborn, we got a British buddy. Matt Seaborn, is that awful?
And if not, let us know. We're gonna just keep pushing it until we hit the limit.
We want to know where the roof on this thing is. Yeah.
Lazar Lilac says Michael Cera should voice the Grendel, and I think it's pretty good too.
Okay. Smattering of Green Lantern news. So, Ryan, did you ever watch Arrow?
No.
So Griffin and I used to really like Arrow, and there's a new character in Arrow titled John Diggle, and he's teased throughout that series as potentially becoming Green Lantern at some point. And then in the final episode of the show, he clearly gets a Green Lantern ring that falls out of the sky, and he's going to be in the Superman show that's coming up. And now apparently he's being turned into a mystery character, even though we all know it's Green Lantern. But we're already getting a Green Lantern series on HBO Max, which will clearly have a big budget. The CW does not. So how interested are you in seeing the Green Lantern on the CW, where he's got a green leather jacket and he's running around the streets of Vancouver?
I'm not interested in that at all. I mean, I haven't watched... I used to the way that my only knowledge of the CW DC universe is that I used to watch iZombie because I love Rob Thomas, creator of Veronica Mars and all that stuff. And the first season of iZombie was pretty good. It kind of went off the rails after that. But I would see, I think we would DVR it at the time, and so I would see at the end at the beginning of iZombie I would see the end of the previous episode of The Flash. And I just thought it looked totally insane.
Okay, listen. Flash Season 1 is some stellar superhero TV, I'd say. It's like a perfect combo of villain of the week and overarching stuff with Reverse Flash. Season 2's even got some fun stuff with like Jay Garrick and Zoom. And
you know what I need to do?
And then, I don't know. And then after that, it was like, well, shit, there it goes.
Again, like, this is one of those things where if my kids watched it with me, I'd be like, this is the best show that's ever existed. Unbelievable. But because I watched it, like with my wife, who I'm always like on edge, like, oh, I'm really pushing it here. She's going to hate this. Like that completely changes it too.
I bet Harrison and Oliver would really love those shows, particularly The Flash, because it's a bit more cartoony than Arrow. Arrow Season 2 is pretty dope too, the Deathstroke
I
stuff.
always like to talk about Arrow because Arrow Season 1 is really good. Arrow Season 2 is phenomenal. 3 is okay, and then 4 is probably the worst season of TV I've ever seen in my life.
It's crazy.
How do they do that?
Bad. I don't know.
The drop-off was insane.
It's crazy to watch. Because like Seasons 1 through 3 are like, this is Batman, but it's Green Arrow. And then Season 4 is like, magic but on a CW budget. It's wild. But yeah, that'll be really good, I guess. CW Green Lantern. What else?
I'm gonna take one more question real quick. Ryan, who or how does Null sound like in your head? I've answered this before, like David Bowie. Okay, go on.
David Bowie. I want to say too that
I'm Null.
Matthew Seaborn signed off on our British accents.
Thank you, Matthew.
He said he thinks pop culture news should be done solely in a British accent from here on out. So, sad pop culture news. We're going into sad pop culture news.
Oh no.
David Prowse passed away, the original Darth Vader. He was 85, which is good innings. But yeah,
he's a very tall man, right?
He's huge.
Yeah.
Apparently, when Hayden Christensen put on the suit in episode 3, he had to be in stilts because the suit was so big.
I'll say that the I mean, we're supposed to be mourning David Prowse here, but that Vader Immortal game on the Oculus, when he stands in front of you, when Darth Vader stands in front of you, it's a whole different experience than seeing it on the screen. Just seeing how big the helmet is and everything, it was like I wanted to take the Oculus helmet off. I was like, I don't like this. This guy is scary as hell.
So you're playing Vader Immortal.
Oh yeah, I played and I got the new Star Wars one. Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah. They're very short games, but totally worth it.
How long?
It's really cool because you like come out of hyperspace at the start of the new one, the Galaxy's Edge one, and I like was looking at hyperspace and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get it
That's
now.
sweet.
Very
Well,
cool.
I gotta join you boys on this Oculus Quest.
Yeah, we can hang out in VR chat.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
kind of
that ain't
cool.
happening
Ryan hasn't done that with me yet,
anytime
but-
soon. I think it's finally happening. I think I'm finally just bucking up and committing and getting a new computer. So I ain't gonna be buying any Oculus Quests for the rest of my life, I believe, is the contract I signed. With
Aren't you guys making a bunch of money on selling merch from this show?
We, listen.
Boatloads. And if you want to get some more merch, you can head on over to SheridanandSmith.com, hit that merch tab. We also have a Patreon, where we make an easy $25 each every month. So
Help Griffin get an Oculus Quest.
Maybe a R.I.P. David Prowse T-shirt.
okay.
Oh, no.
All right, Ryan, you got any more ideas?
That was it. That was it.
Branding ideas? Okay. R.I.P. David Prowse.
R.I.P. David Prowse.
John Iker's got a couple of great T-shirt ideas, which he's in the
He
chat.
does.
Hello, sir.
I don't.
Chains in the chat for
Um,
John Iker and his amazing graphics. Please. Thank you.
Two more things. One, Ryan, did you hear about the infamous jeans guy in The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I did. Yes, of course.
So apparently he's been removed from the episode.
Nice.
They should have
Alright.
they should have like added just stormtrooper gear on him. So he's just standing there like half in the shot.
Genuinely, for some reason, when I saw the jeans guy screenshot, I thought of you. Like, I thought that was you. Like, I don't know why.
Me just being like, I'm not interested in this.
I like that. I
So
like
it's
that.
a shame that he's out, but he's not. He's
See,
no
that
longer
was it. Was Ryan standing in there in the frame, and then off screen, but still next to Ryan is Charles Soule, explaining everything that's happening to Ryan, and Ryan going,
Yeah, oh, cool. That sounds fun. Yeah.
"That's Emperor clones."
My kids would
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good.
Final thing, Ryan, are you following the saga of Grindelwald?
No. But what's going on with Grindelwald?
So, if you're familiar, in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, he's played by Colin Farrell, the sexy man himself. Then he's
Turns
revealed
into
at the end of the
Johnny
film to
Depp.
be Johnny Depp.
Right.
And in the second film, he's Johnny Depp. Now Johnny Depp is out. So our third actor to be playing Grindelwald would be Mads Mikkelsen, the villain from Doctor Strange.
Okay, he should have been it from the jump.
Like
He's
the-
awesome. I do love him. And that was so weird when it became Johnny Depp. It was just like, how am I supposed to watch this now? I don't get this.
I really hope that this like comes with a character shift as well, because he's pretty much just Voldemort in that movie. He's just walking around and talking all quiet and very evil, sitting at a table telling everyone his plan. But Grindelwald is supposed to be like very charming. Like he can talk to the room and like get people on his side because he's so charismatic. And I think Mads Mikkelsen can pull that off a bit more than Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I just wish that those movies were better.
Yeah, that too. I think the third one's looking up. You know, they got Steve Kloves, who wrote all the Harry Potter movies,
Keep
on board
saying
now.
that. I don't know.
I kind of need to rewatch the first one. I felt like I didn't understand what Eddie Redmayne was saying the whole time. Like,
You gotta watch subtitles.
Yeah.
You gotta have subtitles on. He's like mumbling his way through that movie, so
yeah.
it's all good.
He's saying
charming.
he's always just saying that he forgot to put on sunscreen. That's what he's. You gotta listen really close.
Joseph Kelsey says he can't stand Harry Potter. I'm sorry, but yeah. Get him out of here immediately.
All
Yeah,
right.
get the fuck out of here.
I love Harry Potter. But we do have a whole episode where Donnie rails against it, Joseph, so go ahead and check that out.
Check that out. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Donnie rips it open.
He did convince me of some things, but I'm still on on the side of Harry Potter.
Somebody
Okay, so
recommended Chaos and Comics recommended Johnny Depp play Null.
but only after Colin Farrell has already played Null, and then eventually Mads Mikkelsen will also play Null.
Well, we've said Keanu before, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, Keanu I think is pretty spot on. Mads Mikkelsen genuinely I think would be kind of dope.
That's true. That is good call. I hadn't thought about that, but yes,
Hey,
absolutely.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Although
I can see
Null's
him
a very
drop Eddie Brock off a building.
okay. Eddie Redmayne is Null.
No.
He'd be like, God is coming. And you'd be like, what?
It's coming. Right.
Daniel Radcliffe did the Hot Ones challenge. I'm asking in the chat. I'm confused. All right. Let's take questions. Is that where we're at? Questions?
That's where we're at.
All right. King and Black questions. We're going to try and keep it spoiler-free for a second. And then at the tail end, we'll touch on just a couple of the big moments from the issue. But the bulk of it, like I said, is going to be in that director's commentary episode featuring Mr. Donny Cates himself.
Let's talk back to that first question. What happened to the Sentry?
What happened to the Sentry?
We're not in spoiler talk yet, are we?
No, we'll have to. I guess we could just make it all spoilers.
All right, here's a spoiler.
Do we want to? I don't know. Let's do a couple that aren't spoilers first, but know that it's that coming up. We will start doing spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We got 69 people in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, nice.
All right, Tyler Jennis asks, why is Venom?
Okay, that's a bad question. Somebody said, Ryan, when were you told Elektra was going to be Daredevil? Well, there's the spoiler, but I guess we're reading it now.
Whoa, I haven't read that yet, Ryan.
That's pretty dope.
So, like I said before, I was in the room when Chip pitched that idea, and everybody loved it, and it was great. She, interestingly, when I initially drew that page, she was not on the page. I can't remember who was on the page. There were several edits because as you're doing an event thing and you're using all these characters, things kind of get away from you. She was not initially on that. That's a digital edition that I made later. I changed another character to her, and we had to wait a while to find out if we were allowed to use her because of this timeline. But I think that it was supposed to come out like a week before, and then COVID changed the release dates of everything, and so everything went off the rails. But initially the idea, we weren't going to have her in, then we were allowed to have her in, and now it's kind of like those two things are interplaying. But at least I think that most people would miss that she was in that panel. She wasn't really a major part of it, so yeah.
Hey, there was a question that I really liked from Hypercombo that asked, is it difficult to get violent imagery approved at Marvel? And I've always been interested in that, because I remember in the Ultimate Spider-Man days, you could show somebody getting impaled or whatever, or like their arm ripped off, but there had to be a shadow over it, or sometimes the blood would just be colored black in order to not make it look as much like blood and whatever. Like, is there a process behind that where they kind of contact you and they're like, this is too much or whatever?
Yes, very much. So we will say the infamous Sentry page, for example. When we talked about that in the room, it was very tense because we wanted to do something that some people thought was too much. And so we said, well, we'll make it less violent. And we did. And even the final printed version is not necessarily the version that I'm happy with. I think that they've kind of come around on maybe in reprints doing a different version. I'm not sure. We'll see. Because I don't think that they deemed it too violent. At that point, I had changed it like 3 or 4 times to get it to a place that we were all happy with. But then they wanted to add something to it. And, again, like it kind of got away from us. But if you see... Someday I think I will post the original pencils and you can see like where we started and where we ended up. Because they wanted, they were very concerned about how violent that was. And that stuff happens quite a bit, honestly. I know no exit wounds, like that's for some reason off the table. So it's usually not a big deal. I tend to push it too far, and I know that I'm doing it, and then but I'd rather go too far and have to scale it back than,
Yeah.
Good, play it safe. So
definitely.
We've had a couple of good questions come into the chat here. First, as just a quick aside, Sarah Ferris asked, Mr. Stegman and Supple Boys, I was wondering if you guys would ever consider having Hickman or Rosenberg as a guest on the podcast. That or a roast of Chip. Well, Chip is kind of roasting himself just by existing, I feel like, so we don't really need to cover that. But Hickman, I don't know, we've never really talked about trying to get Hickman. I guess there was a moment where we were seeing if maybe it would work out. Rosenberg, we have had on the show. Just about a year ago, we had Mr. Matt Rosenberg on the show, and it was a great episode. And just the other day, we were talking about trying to get him back on because he's a
go back in the archives and check out the Rosenberg episode. And I would love to have Hickman on, but he would never, ever in a million years do this podcast. I wouldn't even know what to say to him.
We'd have to add so many like infographics. I feel like into the show. We'll do a live stream with a bunch of inserts. It'll be so good.
I mean, he is a stressed out fella. He is working on all the X books. Like kind of show running this whole thing. And I think that it's a full-time job, like a more than full-time job. So to do my stupid podcast would probably be a little bit much for him.
Anthony Hudak, also preface as usual, I'm sorry if I'm butchering anybody's names. Just wondering, Donnie has said Stephen King was heavy influence on this saga. Was Null influenced a little by Pennywise? Because I got some vibes from him being ancient, shape-shifting, and so on. So
somebody on Twitter asked also if he was influenced by Dracula, and I think that it's just sort of common tropes. Like we're not reinventing the wheel here. Null is the baddest ass, and he is very much the quintessential villain. The cool thing about him is his backstory, I think, and then the actions and the things that he can do are very reminiscent of classic bad guys. But the fact that he was the god of the void is the coolest shit ever. So
the way that Donnie has been able to create a character and a concept and a whole layer to the symbiote lore without it feeling like a retcon, or without it feeling like it was just tacked on in your guys' run or whatever, to make it feel like, oh yeah, well this all clicks, this all makes sense.
It's fucking crazy.
The whole time we just didn't know it. Right?
Watching him do it, it's so insane because he'll have these things that he's like, oh, when you drew, such and such, he's like, that is, and it's like I put a couple circles on something and it became a thing. And he's like, nice. And that is now playing throughout this whole thing, and it becomes a big thing. And I'm like, what in the hell are you? And then he tells you what it is, and you're like, it does, it all works. What the? Like, how did that happen? I don't understand the connections that, he's like doing. It's like the Beautiful Mind guy. He's got the threads on the wall, and you go into his house. I'm sure it's like that, and then all of a sudden this story comes out. And you're like, that's cool.
No, he's definitely the meme from It's Always Sunny of Charlie. Yeah. He's turned around with the conspiracy theory wall behind him.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Ryan, what was your favorite moment to draw without any spoilers? You can kind of vaguely
the sentry moment. That was the big. We were so excited about doing that, and we had we fought for that part, and we got it in there, and that was really exciting to do. And the fact that it was, I don't know if people noticed, but it was a callback to a scene from Siege, and I did the exact same layout. Basically used what Olivier's layout, so it's 100% an homage to what he did, only in reverse. Sort of a cool little nod to the past.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you. We got a few of this question. Everybody knows that you poured your blood, sweat, tears, and soul into this book for so long. You've done masterful work, just absolutely exhausting yourself mentally, physically, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
But people want to know, hey, asshole, is that old Cable? Because isn't it supposed to be young Cable in continuity?
Yes.
At this point?
So I can't remember. Like I drew this so long ago, but I thought that the reference that I had, I didn't know it was a kid, and then nobody told me I had to change it, and then the preview pages came out and people started asking me, and I was like, too late now. Like, Cable is Cable. It's drawn and colored, and it is printed, so I don't know what to tell you.
This book is worthless now.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is ridiculous. This is a terrible book. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that was just like an oversight on multiple people's parts that, again, like there's so many moving parts. This is a totally insane undertaking, putting this thing together. And honestly, something that I love about comics is this type of stuff. Like, as much as it might be frustrating to somebody who's really dialed into continuity and everything, like the fact that we just talk about something and then we make it and then it's like out the door. That's one of the immediacy of the comic book medium is so great. And, it's not like a movie where you have a million cooks in the kitchen. We really just have like 5 people that are thinking about what is going on here. And then everybody else just kind of works around it. And, you hope for the best. And sometimes stuff like that gets through. But look at it as more as a, just a love letter to the comic book making process than, a major error that takes you out of the story because I can't do anything about it.
Totally.
Also, you could you could explain it in your head. Maybe that's old Cable. Maybe he's back, but he's just keeping it on the down low.
It's just teen sexy Cable.
Yeah.
He's just having an off day.
Yeah.
Well, Donnie's not here to say it, so I'll throw it in. Yeah, players fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Players fuck up.
Yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess. I don't know. Ethan, you should be saying that with your chain on, not me.
Yeah. Ryan, I think one of my favorites is this sort of bottom half of one of the pages here, where it's the back of Venom's head morphed into Null's head, and you got the spiral in the background and all the dragons. It's fucking sick.
Thank you, Chris Farley from the Chris Farley Show.
Do you remember that page?
That was awesome.
You drew Venom and Null, and they had the same head.
We've got a question from Jared Sullivan who says, "Isn't the Sentry supposed to be still fully fused with the Void with the black hair?" That's a question for
Ryan, isn't he?
Editors. I don't know. I can't keep up on everything. I'm doing my best. I guess that would be a failure on Donnie's and my part and my editors if that's the case, but I don't think so. I think we've got something. If Donnie were here, he would explain it and it would all make sense, but I have no idea.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
For the director's commentary episode. It's gonna be great.
We gotta get this book redrawn, like people's trying to do that Last Jedi remake that they're raising money for.
Right.
Shit. That's some stupid shit. Spoiler talk, real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Spoiler talk. Turn it
off.
off.
Spoilers for issue 2.
Let's watch. I'm watching if the numbers go down. Hey, spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, leave now. Viewers.
This thing's like a whole minute behind.
Yeah. We'll give it just a second.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Oh, we lost 3, so maybe they heard it. All right. Yeah. Let's just vamp for a second. All right.
Ryan, what's your favorite variant for the issue?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. Let's see. Peach Momoko did a really cool one.
I've seen it.
Here, I'll look it up and show it to you on the screen if I can. There were a lot of variants, so I don't want to leave any out. But
do you have a tie-in that you're most excited for? We got to ask that too.
That Namor one, that Kurt Busiek, we talked about a little bit on this podcast. I'm really excited just because Kurt Busiek has to work with stuff that we created. Here's the Peach Momoko one. I mean, I'm pretty much a fan of everything that Peach Momoko does.
Oh yeah, no, I see it. That's so sick.
Look at that.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's such a cool Null. I love seeing people's takes on Null. It's pretty funny too seeing people draw the dragons. I get so excited, especially like some guys. They really give it their own flavor. Like Tony Moore did one, and I don't know if that wasn't issue 1 though. Or that was a different book. But Tony Moore, whenever I see him he did a dragon. It was so cool looking, and Trad's done dragons in the past. It's all so cool.
Hell yeah. Apparently you were fine with the whole Void Sentry thing. Apparently that was resolved in the recent Annihilation event, so we're good on that one.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that there was an explanation, but
yeah.
Okay, here's Wise Hulk.
Jimmy says put Peaches in the chat for Peach. Jimmy says so.
Peaches in the chat for Peach and that fantastic variant. All right, if you're still in here, then that means you're 100% okay with us saying that Null rips Sentry right in half.
Yeah.
It's a bloody couple of pages. and it's so fucking sick. What was the energy like in the room when you and Donnie stand up and say, "All right, we're gonna rip Sentry in half. The dude's fucked."
Well, so we really wanted to tell you that this event has consequences, right? Like, and in Absolute Carnage, we felt a little, every once in a while, we felt a little bit neutered by, like, they'd be like, well, you can't use that, because I don't think they realized how big. We knew that Absolute Carnage was going to be huge. I don't think they knew. And so once they start to trust you with that stuff, then they'll let you do stuff like rip the Sentry in half.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the room, I mean, it was just when he started talking about it, and we were like, the scene from Siege, and that's kind of a sticking point for a lot of people at Marvel as something where they feel like they went too far in that original scene. And let's be honest, it's pretty nuts. Like, it was crazy. And so I think it was one of those things where you
pipe up and say, like, no way.
Nobody was that adamant. They were all like, I mean, it was just such a brilliant way to do it that they were kind of, I think that they were like, we're going to at least entertain this idea. And yeah, it was one of those things where he brings it up, and you're like laughing because you're like, oh my God, that's perfect, that's great,
Yeah.
And so basically that was it. Like, that's how it worked, and there were people that were like a little bit like, we don't really want to call attention to that dark moment in Marvel history or whatever, but we talked them into it, and now it's on the page, so can't take it back. No take backs.
It is canon.
Yeah.
And of course, that moment is coming off of another crazy reveal that you have just a couple of pages prior, where Null makes his arrival on Earth. Mm-hmm. And who did he bring with him? None other than a couple of symbiote-consumed Celestials.
That was a hard page to draw. That was really hard.
Was that?
Oh yeah.
I was imagining, because they're like, so. Once you start getting into that shit, Null's top dog. He's going toe-to-toe with motherfucking Galactus, man.
Right.
Ego. And the Celestials didn't stand a fucking chance. When he comes down and he's, like, piloting one of them.
Yeah.
It's just such a phenomenal way to, like you're saying, the same sort of situation with Sentry. Like, where Sentry is all about the stakes, Null showing up in a Celestial is definitely like, oh fuck, alright, well, we are fucking with the wrong dude.
Right.
Because how the fuck is any one of the Avengers gonna stand a chance against the dude that beat every single Celestial single-handedly? Like,
yeah.
Holy fuck.
And like that's kind of the beauty of what Donnie does too always, is he just keeps ramping it up. He just finds a way, like, where you're like,
yeah,
well, you can't go any bigger, and then it's like bigger than that.
But he did.
Yeah. But I think that that was a big moment, and then the reveal of Null coming out, I knew that was super important to nail that one. Like, that he had to have the attitude, it had to be perfect. And so I probably spent 3 days on that one, just trying to make sure that it was absolutely perfect, just because this is the Null event essentially.
It is. He is the titular character.
Yeah.
And that was something that I hit you and Donnie up about after I read the issue. Was
on the day it came out, we didn't give you an advance.
On the day it came out,
right?
Just yesterday, I called you both up after I read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying that it has to be immensely gratifying, because it is wild to see a character that you guys created is suddenly at the forefront of this huge event.
It's bonkers. Totally.
A couple of years after his introduction, and
there were certain things that I feel like we foresaw. Like, we foresaw that. Like, I feel like when we started doing Venom, I was like, this is gonna be big. Like, people are gonna love this. But again, I'm thinking like, 100,000 on issue 1, and then dips down and does normal Venom numbers. Maybe we bump the numbers by 5,000 per issue or something. But it turns out we bumped the numbers like 50,000 per issue. And one of the things that I couldn't possibly have foresaw was that Null would become this. And the initial idea was King in Black would have just been contained in Venom, and he would have had some help. You know, like we would have done the story where he would have had some help, but then like, you know, from a few characters. But then once Venom started blowing up and they started letting us do them as events, then we got to use everybody, and it feels more appropriate because Null is. Otherwise, if it's just a few guys, he's overpowered. You know, like he has too much power. It wouldn't be interesting. But yeah, like we got to use everything in the toolbox.
Well, the way that like Abskarn felt big, of course, because it was one of those first times that it really felt like we got a Venom centric sort of like event, and that was dope. But man, you guys stepped it up fucking big time in King in Black. Like now it is a Marvel Universe fucking event because everybody's here. The X-Men showed up for this shit, and that is just wild. Like to have a book on this sort of scale open with Eddie Brock ringing the Avengers, like it's just insane.
Can I say something real quick? We've got Stormbreaker in the chat. Iban Coelho, I think I'm saying your name right. Iban is a great artist. He's been doing a lot of a ton of the Venom stuff. He's one of my favorite artists in the biz. Tons of great energy. Check him out if you guys haven't seen him, but I'm sure that if you're here, you're probably a Venom fan and you've seen tons of his work. But yeah, this guy rules. Hey, Iban. Chains in the chat for Iban. Thank you.
100%.
Chains in the chat.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Ryan, this fucking title spread when it reveals the King in Black in the sky and the symbiotes, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. I just wanted to say that.
You want to see? You want to know a story about that? That's funny. I said in the layout, I said that I was going to put the letter. You know, I was going to letter it myself at the top. And Devin came back and said, "No, don't do that." And he said, CB said not to do that. He wants, to put, he just doesn't know how it'll look. And I was just like, okay, I won't. And then I did it because I was like, you know what? I can fix it if they want me to take them out. And so I just turned it in and they were like, okay, you were right, And once the inks came in and all that stuff, because I didn't want it to look too logo-y, I wanted it to look like, that's why there's if you look at the water, you really are just getting the sliver in the middle. So it really has that sort of cinematic wide shot thing with the, stuff. So that's what we were trying to sell there, is just like, this is, the scope and the sort of cinematic nature of the whole thing.
As we're talking a lot about this run getting bigger and bigger and getting crazier in scope, as it gets more and more massive, are you finding that you more are reacting when you're talking the story and you're laying stuff out? Are you feeling more fuck, it's kind of daunting, or are you feeling more excited that you're doing bigger, crazier shit? Does it ever feel one way or the other specifically? I'm numb to it now. I mean, it just doesn't get any smaller. The whole thing, it doesn't contract. It only gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. Donnie, I just got a page from issue 5 where I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I guess I've figured these things out before, So that's kind of how it is you just look at it there's been so many pages that I've thought, that's going to be impossible. There's no way I can do it. And I just keep doing them. So eventually you just get to the point where you're like, well, that day's going to be a bitch, but I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Awesome. Well, issue 1 blew people's minds, I think, safe to say. And we said nobody was ready for issue 1, and guess what? Nobody's ready for issue 2 either. So, son of a bitch.
Is Eddie going to be okay? Is Hulk going to jump up and catch him? What's happening after the cliffhanger there?
You will have to wait and see. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens. I believe Iban drew some of that in the regular Venom series, so I'm scared. I can't talk anymore. I'm afraid I'm gonna say something.
Lord Zypher says that they recently picked up an original page from Superior Spider-Man #1.
Oh, recently you did, huh? Was that? Yeah, well, I guess we don't need to have a whole conversation about that, but probably through Felix. Anyway,
probably.
Sure. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think probably wrap it up right there and save the rest of the discussion for when we got Mr. Cates with us.
What the hell are you talking about? We've got 5 more minutes. We're not even at an hour here.
All right,
What
man.
kind of
Let's go.
podcast host are you?
The first time Ryan's ever been like, no, let's keep going.
I carved out time for this. What the hell?
I've never heard Ryan want to podcast before. Let's see.
Ryan, I think the use of light in the issue is really fucking phenomenal, and it's really crucial to like setting the mood. And I'd love to know how much of that is you, how much of it is JP.
Yeah. So you mean specifically like how kind of heavy the shading is on things and how dark it is?
Sure. Yeah. It's like this when Null's walking out of the Celestial, like, I don't know, man, there's just something about it that it creates such a fucking tone.
Well, I mean, that's just like the way that I like to work. I really like heavy black. That's sort of like I love Dave Finch's work. That it always just makes it feel more epic and sort of, especially this type of book. It's a horror based type thing, so I just try to put as much black in there, and then JP, helps out by bringing the heat on that end. I like how you drew Eddie so ripped, but why wasn't he wearing any clothes under the symbiote? That, I think I did initially draw him with clothes, and then there was a tie-in that somebody else was drawing, I think it was Iban, where he didn't have clothes, so why not? He just went, he must have suited up while he was in his underwear, I guess.
Lazar Lilik in the chat is reminiscing about the time when on this very podcast, Donnie accidentally said the name King in Black before it was officially announced.
That we can laugh about that now. That was terrifying. I almost crapped my pants.
Back to that great moment.
Yeah, well,
that was awesome. Which, by the way, I do have it saved. I
Do you?
cut it out super fast, but I made sure to save it first for maybe right around this time. I'll see if I can get it out on Twitter.
Let me explain to people what happened. So we were doing a live stream, and Donnie's on here, and he gets on, and he's ending a phone call with CB Sobalski, the editor-in-chief, and then he says, what did he say? He was just like right on this camera, he said congratulations on King in Black or something like that, and I was like, what the fuck?
He said it, and like I was looking down at my phone, probably like getting stuff together, and he said it, and I remember thinking, "Oh, are we live?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh shit, oh shit."
I also did a live stream with my kids, where for like a kids live stream where I was just drawing for kids, and somebody came on and asked me what I was working on, and I said, "Oh, I don't know. You'll have to wait and see." And my son goes, "You're working on King in Black." And I was like,
Fuck up.
Jesus.
And then you slapped your child live on live stream.
I know, it was crazy. And I didn't even get in trouble for it. People loved it. They all subscribed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The family streams.
Yeah.
So good.
They were all like, he's so relatable.
Fucking A.
Landon asked Ryan, when the hell are you and Donnie going to do an Amazing Spider-Man run together?
Maybe someday. I mean, you never know. Like, that's both of our favorite characters, so
That would be sick.
definitely possible. I think that we have plans for things that are coming up. Perhaps that involves Spider-Man, perhaps it doesn't, but it's definitely involves freaking cool ass shit.
Cool
Whoa.
ass shit. When are we gonna? Y'all are always talking about how you want to do a creator-owned book together, and I want it now.
I got a question from Dom Gomez that I like because it makes me seem smart. Ryan, the way you draw hero anatomy is fantastic. How do you keep it crazy muscular but not 90s anatomy? I don't really know how I do that. I think that it's just there's been a lot of influences between now and then. There was something about 90s anatomy that was very static, but they were still capable of making their characters have a lot of motion. But there was something about it that was very structured, and there's something about newer anatomy. Like, I mean, I'll pat my own back. I think I do it well. My characters always seem like they're moving, and that was something that I picked up from Joe Madureira, who is one of my favorite artists, and that's like always something that I've been trying to achieve is movement in my drawings. But yeah, I think that like Greg Capullo has really a lot of movement in his figures, and these are all people that I look up to. So I guess that's it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Over on the tweet you put out, we did have someone, a Mr. Dave Acosta, said that he was going to come in here and ask why you are so handsome and what your beauty tips are.
Well, you gotta.
Do you moisturize?
Yeah, of course. Do I moisturize?
You gotta moisturize.
Do I? I use soap. I use shampoo.
Do you want to say the brand of soap? What are you wearing?
I don't know. It's something I got off Amazon.
Who's washing you, Ryan?
Who's washing?
It's got oatmeal in it. It says. Then I use herbal essences for my shampoo, and I just bang weights constantly, just freaking lifting like a madman. I am shredded, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, the one hand you're doing you're doing some pencils,
yeah,
and the other hand.
Yeah,
you
got to stay in shape while you're working.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy asked, wait a second, what's the guy in the middle's name? My name is Griffin. The one on the right is Ethan, and we are Ryan's producers, the Supple Boys.
No, Ethan, you're the middle one.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're Ethan.
This is another reveal. This is another reveal alongside the King in Black leak that I am Ethan.
Right, right. Dakota Crows is wondering if you're hitting the bag at all.
Hitting the bag. Yeah, of course you got to hit the bag. You got to you just smash that bag. Sometimes the chain.
You can sack out real fast.
The problem is I punch it off the ceiling every once in a while because I mean, like when you're lifting weights as much as me, you're so strong, and I have so much rage inside of me that I just imagine I have one that is a picture of Chip Zdarsky, on the bag, and I actually the other day I punched through the bag. It didn't even move. It was like a swish in basketball where the net doesn't move, and I punched so hard that my arm just appeared on the other side of it. It was crazy.
I really have no idea what to say to this.
Wait, no, I want to read it. I'm going to read it. I feel like it'll come across better if somebody else reads it. Menthol Sushi says, Griffin has a fat guy voice, and I'm shocked he's a healthy weight.
Well, you can't see him. He's a bowling pin.
Yeah,
he's a pyramid.
His head's skinny. He's got a skinny head.
Yeah.
It all goes to my hips.
Yep. He's morbidly obese, but don't let him fool you.
That's actually why we're recording on Skype, is because we can't fit in the same room.
Yeah.
It's Griffin.
Shit.
Somebody
what
asked.
does that even mean, a fat guy voice? What is that?
It's a lot of heavy breathing and chewing while you're talking.
Well, that's pretty frequent. We do have a segment called Griffin Eats.
You have
our most recent Supple Hangout.
You've heard of awake apnea, but you have or sleep apnea, but you have awake apnea. Yeah, where you just all,
I'm constantly choking on the fucking show.
This is not good. We've gone off the rails.
He's very supple.
I'm very supple. We're very supple boys. Okay, where the fuck was I? I had a goddamn question, and then I saw that, and I had to do some introspection, I guess.
Michael asked, what's the secret on the King in Black cover? Is that there are genitals exposed, like Batman Damned?
I'll reveal that now. I mean, I think that everybody's figured that out. We have, there was a secret variant cover. So there's a cover where Hulk is on it, but we shortly into working on the series found out that the plans for Hulk did not line up well with what we were going to be doing in King in Black. So the Thing, it was also going to be in it, so we figured, hey, why don't we change it to the Thing? Well, then we had they had two covers, so they made the Thing one, because everybody had already seen the Hulk one, because it had been used as the announcement material. So we just decided to have the Thing variant be a 1 in 7, and so if you flip through them at the store, you could get the more rare one. But we also didn't want to tell people that beforehand because we didn't want retailers taking them out and jacking up the price. We wanted people to find it organically. So I'm hoping that kind of played out. Like I said, I didn't want to say too much about it, but I just kind of wanted to hint at it. So
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I still got to go down to the shop
Ewing
and pick
on
it
the
up.
show. Al Ewing has also been on the show. That's another person that's been on the show. Although Al Ewing was only on the show for like 15 seconds.
I would love to have Al. Al is one of my favorite people in person. He's got the craziest, deepest voice, and he's so fun to talk to. He's like, I don't know, he's such an interesting guy, like just quirky and has interesting thoughts on every topic. Fantastic.
He was called into the show live from a cab for about 15 seconds and then dropped off unceremoniously.
Yeah.
But it was great talking to him, and he does have an amazing voice.
Got conflicting reports here. Nigel says that he found his secret variant organically, got it for cover price. Dakota Crow's not the same situation. He said that they found it and put the price up a bit higher on that one.
That sucks. Like, I mean, I understand. Dakota. Yeah, I understand. I'm glad that the retailers can make extra money. I thought that was actually a really cool little wrinkle. Just kind of the surprise of it all was really neat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I think now we could wrap it up. We're over an hour
We're gonna
now.
Wrap it up now. Now is it safe to wrap it
A
up?
little bit. I got my first yawn in,
I don't
so
keep getting into stuff.
the lean back is about to
Ryan
start.
just yawned and leaned back.
Oh, there it is.
It's time.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Like I said, stay tuned. We're gonna get Mr. Cates on here as soon as all of our availabilities allow. Which who fucking knows, honestly. It's been a goddamn nightmare trying to schedule shit recently. So stay tuned. Based on our supple hangout, we know everybody is hungry for more episodes of all the shows, and that's really awesome, and we're gonna try and keep getting it out for you. But obviously, we got some busy boys here, so make sure you're keeping up with King in Black, because that'll probably be a good chunk of the discussion for the next couple months. And we had this idea, Ryan. You had this idea that you wanted to talk about all the big Marvel events coming up here, and I would love if for every issue of King in Black that we get, we could also do an episode where we talk about an event. So we'll do a director's commentary for King in Black, and then we'll talk about a Marvel event. We'll try and work all that out. But that sounds good. That sounds cool to me. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Twitter @Stegman Show. You can find all of the other shows, including Donnie and Meg's Devil's Advocates Book Club, and Ethan and mine's own show, Supple Boys, over at SheridanandSmith.com, where you can also find the aforementioned merch and the Patreon. I've brought up the Supple Hangouts a couple of times already. If you want to get in a Zoom call with me and Ethan every month, which you know you do, because we're very funny, we're very handsome, and really great conversations. If only in the voice, I guess.
Yeah. Can we end this for Christ's sake? This is the longest outro I've ever heard in my life.
Well,
we got a lot of
all right.
shit, man.
It's how the professionals do it.
Yeah, it's how the professionals podcast. They do the same outro 400 times, and all the same listeners hear it 400 times.
All right. Well,
bye.
I wanted to say I love everybody individually. Thanks for reading the book, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.